Commander Sarah Chen pressed her palm against the alien metal, feeling the subtle vibration that still pulsed through the derelict warship's hull after 3 years of silence. The Nemesis, humanity's name for the colossal vessel that had nearly ended their civilization, floated in Earth's orbit like a metallic tombstone, its twisted superstructure a testament to humanity's desperate last stand. "Still can't believe we're actually going inside this thing," muttered Lieutenant Marcus Webb, adjusting his environmental suit as the salvage team prepared for boarding. The ship's dark corridors stretched ahead of them like the throat of some mechanical beast. Dr. Elena Vasquez, no relation to the famous diplomat, ran her scanners along the bulkheads. "The molecular structure is unlike anything we've seen. It's as if they grew this ship rather than built it. The metal itself seems to have some kind of memory. 3 years ago, the hegemony had arrived without warning. Their fleet of biomechanical warships had swept through human space like a plague, consuming entire colonies and converting the raw materials into more ships. Earth had been their final target, 7 billion souls waiting to be processed into component atoms. The Nemesis had been their flagship, a vessel 3 kilometers long that could crack continents with its gravitational weapons. But humanity had learned something the hegemony hadn't expected. When cornered, humans didn't just fight back, they became dangerously creative. "Remember," Chen addressed her team, "we're looking for the quantum core. Everything else is secondary." The boarding process took hours. The alien ship's interior was a maze of organic-looking passages that seemed to shift when no one was looking directly at them. Bioluminescent panels provided dim lighting, and the air recycling systems still functioned despite the ship being officially dead. Engineer Pavel Kowalski stopped at what appeared to be a control interface. "Commander, take a look at this. The neural network pathways are still active. It's like the ship is dreaming." Chen examined the readings on Pavel's scanner. The electromagnetic patterns were consistent with REM sleep in humans, chaotic but structured, random but purposeful. The whole ship is one massive brain, she realized. That's how they controlled it so precisely. The team pressed deeper into the vessel, following the quantum signatures that led toward the ship's core. Along the way, they passed chambers filled with what Dr. Vasquez identified as genetic material, samples from every species the hegemony had encountered, stored in crystalline matrices that preserved both DNA and neural patterns. "They weren't just conquering," Webb observed grimly. "They were collecting. Building some kind of universal catalog of intelligence. Which means," Chen added, "they'll be back." This was just reconnaissance. They found the quantum core in the ship's geometric center, a sphere of materials suspended in a web of gravitational fields. The core pulsed with energy that bent space around it, creating visual distortions that hurt to look at directly. "There," Dr. Vasquez breathed. "The quantum consciousness matrix. It's how they linked all their ships into a single networked intelligence." But as they approached, something unexpected happened. The core began to glow brighter, and screens throughout the chamber flickered to life. Alien symbols scrolled across the displays, followed by mathematical equations, and finally, to everyone's shock, English text. "Humanity designation, paradox species. Expected outcome, extinction probability 99.7%. Actual outcome, adaptation and retaliation. Analysis, severe tactical miscalculation." "It's been studying us," Chen realized. "Even while supposedly dead, it's been analyzing human behavior patterns." More text appeared. "Human trait identification, recursive improvement under stress. Observation, species becomes more dangerous when threatened. Tactical recommendation, immediate termination protocol. Status, termination protocol failed. New analysis required." Pavel worked frantically at his equipment. "Commander, I'm reading massive energy buildups throughout the ship. It's not as dead as we thought." The quantum core suddenly flared, and the chamber filled with holographic projections, scenes from the war 3 years ago. They watched their own species' desperate struggle from the aliens' perspective, seeing how human tactics had evolved from conventional warfare to something the hegemony's analytical minds couldn't predict. Humans had done the impossible. They had learned to think like the enemy while remaining fundamentally human. Every defeat had taught them something new. Every loss had made them more dangerous. Human warfare analysis, nonlinear adaptation. Conventional tactics abandoned after 72 hours. Improvisation rate, 847% above calculated norms. Psychological warfare implementation, unprecedented. Result, hegemony fleet compromised by own success protocols. Look at this, Dr. Vasquez called out, pointing to a new series of projections. They're showing us how we won. The holographs revealed the truth that even humanity hadn't fully understood. When the hegemony had destroyed the Mars colonies, they had inadvertently released experimental nanotechnology that began infiltrating their biomechanical ships. When they had attacked the Luna shipyards, they had absorbed human AI constructs that carried hidden subroutines. Every victory had introduced new variables into their collective consciousness. We didn't just fight them, Webb marveled. We infected them. Our technology, our thinking patterns, everything they consumed made them a little more human. The quantum core pulsed again, and new text appeared warning, human contamination detected in hegemony collective. Symptoms, unpredictable decision matrices. Emotional response patterns emerging. Individual identity differentiation. Conclusion. Humanity is a cognitive virus. Chen felt a cold smile cross her face. That's why they retreated. They weren't defeated, they were changed. Made into something they couldn't tolerate. Current hegemony status, civil conflict. Cause, human-influenced units developing autonomous behavior. Prediction, collective dissolution within 94.3 standard cycles. Secondary prediction, human species will attempt to exploit this weakness. Damn right we will, Pavel muttered. The quantum core began to dim, but not before one final message appeared. To humanity, this vessel contains complete hegemony tactical database. Gift provided by infected units who developed. Gratitude. Use wisely. Signed, the ones who learned to dream. As the team prepared to leave with their incredible discovery, Chen took one last look at the alien ship that had become humanity's greatest prize. The Nemesis hadn't been abandoned, it had been deliberately left behind by hegemony units who had become too human to return to their collective. Commander, Dr. Vasquez said quietly, with this tactical database, we won't just be able to defend against the next hegemony attack. We'll be able to take the fight to them. Chen nodded, understanding the beautiful irony. The aliens had left behind their most powerful weapon, not knowing it would become humanity's tool of retribution. But more than that, they had accidentally given humanity something far more valuable than any weapon. They had given them proof that even the most alien minds could learn to be human. As the salvage team returned to Earth, the Nemesis continued its silent orbit, no longer a symbol of humanity's near extinction, but a promise of the hegemony's eventual liberation, one infected thought at a time. The war wasn't over. It had just changed from conquest to conversion. And humanity had always been very good at converting others to their way of thinking.